Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Live with Liz. I hope this morning that everything is fixed and that we're live across all of our channels. If you're joining me from LinkedIn, please give me a shout out and let me know that we're here. If you're joining me from somewhere else, I love the shout outs from other places too, of course, but I just want to make sure that things are working this morning. If you are in the US, I hope you had a really nice holiday weekend and that the week is off to a great start. I can't believe it's already Wednesday. Here it is. It's Wednesday. Today we're talking about search engine optimization for law firms, and we're revisiting this topic. We've spoken about it briefly here and there. We've touched upon it when talking about rankings, for example, in directories for law firms, but we haven't really done a deep dive into search engine optimization in a long time. So I put on the title of this week's Live with Liz, SEO, what's that again? And it does stand for search engine optimization. And if you don't know, no judgment. If you don't know how it works, that's okay. I think it's still important that you have some basics down though about SEO, because this is really becoming the way that people find you. And if you're not findable, then business is going to be stalled, slow down. The competition is there. They're going to be getting it. Good morning, Leah. It's nice to see you. Yeah, so when we're talking about search engine optimization for law firms, we're really talking about this whole idea about being found on that first page of Google. And when we're talking about being found, we're talking specifically about your law firm's website. And so we're not necessarily talking about you or your firm or something that you published somewhere necessarily. We're talking specifically about your website and about driving traffic to your website so that hopefully whatever process you have in place on your website to convert people into becoming clients can just sort of take hold from there. And that's why it's so important to have your website optimized for search engine results. And that's really what we're talking about when we focus on search engine optimization for law firms. Now, there are a lot of different law firms out there, and I like to categorize things pretty broadly into two separate buckets, because there are law firms that have practice areas focused on individuals, and there are law firms that are in the B2B space and have practice areas that are focused on corporations. And their methods for achieving search engine optimization are a bit different. And I think this is something that a lot of SEO experts out there just don't think about. And the reason that they're different is because the target audience is so different. So when we're trying to get the attention for your website, when we're trying to get your website to rank on that first page of the Google results, we want to think about it in terms of how people are searching, what people are finding, and how to get you there. But we can't do that if we're really focused on the traditional hyper-localized focus, which is what people do generally for SEO, is consider it from the individual searcher perspective and not from the corporate client perspective. So from the individual searcher perspective, it's going to be getting into local directories, and it's going to be sometimes, I mean, advertising, of course, is part of this mix, but we're talking mostly today about organic search engine results. And so if you're reaching out to individuals and you want to be listed everywhere, you're talking about making sure that people can find you at the city level. And sometimes even the neighborhood level. If somebody's looking for a personal injury attorney near them, if somebody's looking for criminal counsel, or if you're looking for estate planning and you're reaching out truly to individuals, that's a different game than if you're reaching out to corporate employees who are looking for counsel, or to lawyers themselves at law firms looking for other counsel. So when I wrap my brain around that and figure out, okay, there's a path for the B2C law firms and there's a path for the B2B law firms, I start to think about what law firms can do to maximize the chances of appearing on that first page. And it really comes down to three areas of concentration for your firm to focus on when it comes to your website appearing on that first page. We're talking about content, we're talking about the technical specifications, and we're talking about backlinks. And I know if you didn't know what SEO is, you might not know what backlinks are either. So content is the most important part. And the content that we're talking about when it comes to SEO is the content on your website. We're talking about the words, we're talking about the images, we're talking about your blog posts, we're talking about all of the information that's on your website that is used to enhance your credibility, that provides high quality information to people who are looking for the services that you provide. And when we're talking about search engine optimization, in a very basic sense, we're just talking about making your website awesome. Just including the absolute best information that you can, having the best client journey possible when they're looking for information. That's basically what it comes down to, is having an awesome website from an information perspective, high quality, relevant, recent, and utilizing keywords that are part of the process when people are searching for your services. So when people are searching for services for a corporate law firm, sometimes it doesn't necessarily matter where they are aside from country. So I'm going to just kind of give you an example of what it looks like when I look for a lawyer. Let's say I'm looking for a patent lawyer in Ukraine. I'm going to go to Google, I'm going to put in my search term, and I'm going to say patent lawyer Ukraine. And the search results probably won't include a lot of patent law firms from Ukraine. They might include a few of the international ones. Some of the well-known law firms will probably appear in the results, maybe one or two. By and large, I'll see digital ads at the top, and I will see directory results. I'll see things like Chambers and Partners or the Legal 500, mostly the Legal 500 at the top. If you didn't see my Live with Liz a few weeks ago about the rankings and why they could still be important, search engine optimization was a big part of it. That Live with Liz is still available on LinkedIn, on YouTube. You can go look it up and see what we had to say about the importance of rankings tied to search engine optimization. And things like that matter when we talk about backlinks. The heck is a backlink? Well, this is the term we use when we're talking about third parties that are linking to your website that help you appear higher in the search results. That's right, Google cares how popular you are. If other people think your law firm is the bomb, Google will hopefully hop on board and think your law firm is cool too. So the more other sites reference your law firm, the more likely it is you'll appear higher in the results. This is where your third-party investments in content can really come into full force and advantage for you, especially if people are searching not necessarily for a law firm, but we're going to think about what services you provide very specifically that your clients need that they might be searching for. So say there's a new law in Argentina, I might go in, or even if a regular law, I'm not familiar with how intellectual property works in Argentina, I'm going to look up IP law in Argentina, trademark information in Argentina, and I'm going to put in the search term something to that effect, trademark law Argentina. What's the process? So if your website answers that question, great. If you have third-party publications where you have answered that question, great. You could end up with the credibility necessary to organically appear on that first page, which is what everyone wants to do. Now, your content being optimized is great, but there are some other factors out there. And the popularity contest of the backlinking, that's also great. So yay, everybody loves you. But there's that third aspect out there that you really have to be aware of, and that is actually, in some cases, pretty easy to make sure you have in good shape. And that's just the technical side of things. So what's important? Content, backlinks, and the technical side. On the technical side of things, what are we talking about? Well, it's actually not as complicated as it sounds. It's making sure your website is mobile friendly. It's making sure your website has a really fast load speed. Now, that's not something you're going to control yourself necessarily, but hopefully you've hired good people who know how websites work, who can take the steps necessary to improve or increase the speed that the pages load. We've all had that experience where we're on our mobile phone and we're looking up a website and it's like taking 4 seconds to load. So I'm just going to turn it off and look for the next thing, go to the next link, because this one's just not doing it for me. So load speed is super important. I mean, now people are saying it needs to load within 2 or 3 seconds to actually be optimized. That's super fast. But there are services out there and steps you can take to make sure that that happens for your law firm's website. And it's not a step you want to skip over on that technical side of things. And of course, as a law firm, you're probably already familiar with some of the other technical aspects, like making sure that you have your privacy statement on there, making sure that you have terms and conditions on your website. If you don't have your full address of your law firm on your website, that is also a way to not be found, because Google is very tied to location. So you need to have your physical address of your law firm on your website as well. And in some places, you have to have a cookie disclosure. In some places, you don't. But just make sure that you're compliant with your jurisdiction. That's what matters on the technical side of things, to be fully compliant with the Google terms and conditions, and then being able to utilize that awesome content and the backlinking to be found. Does it sound complicated? I hope not. You don't actually have to think a lot about this, because there are people out there who will think about it for you. And you can just say, you know what, I really want my website to appear. So there are people like me who sit at my chair and do searching, and I use VPNs. You don't have to know what that is either, but I basically pretend I'm in other places around the world to check what search results look like from different places that are geo-targeted. And basically, I think about what the corporate client would do when looking for outside counsel. Is there a big issue in the marketplace that you should be covering for your credibility? Is there a law change that needs to be brought to the attention of your clients? Is there something relevant that needs to be on your website? You don't have to think about that. You just hire an expert who knows what it is. So when you invest in an SEO package, when you hire a marketing company to do SEO for you, often that's a content package, or part of it can be a content package. Part of it might be digital advertisements that are paid. Part of it might be optimizing your website, going in and putting in the keywords and making sure that the tags and titles are correct. And those tags and titles, again, part of that technical aspect of getting things right for Google and making sure that you're findable. And all this really matters as part of your client journey. We know that it's still word of mouth referral that is really the best way to get new business. We know that. And that probably won't change anytime soon, especially as the noise amplifies in the digital arena, so that when we're looking for someone, it can be confusing to find the right people. We often want to just make sure and get a foothold by just asking a colleague who they would use. And the second most popular way of finding outside counsel is going to Google and doing a search, right? So the top way is word of mouth. The second top way is researching on your own to find counsel who you believe is competent to handle the work that your corporation has, or to answer the needs and give you the legal services that are necessary. It's often a daunting task that takes a lot of time, but it's one that can easily be taken off of your plate by just investing a little bit. And that little investment is also something that, unlike other types of investments that you make in your marketing and your business development, you can assess a return on. You can assess the return on investment when it comes to what you're spending on your search engine optimization and what you're spending in your digital advertising. And this is also a way to measure the results of your third-party investments on the content side. Are there challenges? Absolutely. Some of the challenges include just having to worry about the competition that's in this space, or having to figure out the right mix and keywords. Or if you hire an SEO company that's not familiar enough with your industry or your law firm or your services, it may be a complete waste of time. There are no guarantees when you're investing in SEO. But there are ways to measure, there are ways to change, and there are ways to take advantage of this, what I look at as really the second most valuable way of getting new clients in the digital world that we're living in now. So the first way is still word of mouth referrals. You get that by having really high quality services and happy clients. The second way is to optimize for search engine research, and that SEO is really an important piece of it now. If you have questions about search engine optimization, or about how law firms can take advantage of search engine changes, and optimizing your website, getting your content right. If you need a content package or someone who really understands the legal industry or law firms, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can always ask questions of us. Solutions@firmforward.com is our email. www.firmforward.com is our website. Please visit us, follow us on social media, subscribe to our channels, and we will provide more content like this. And I hope to see you next week on Live with Liz. If you're still in the holiday week, it's spring, and we're really excited to get outside mode this week. I don't blame you. I am right there with you, and we'll focus more and get things done very soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.